Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda, Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaur Bhaktavinda. Talks between the Lord and Ramananda Raya. It's the Madhya Lila, Chapter 8, Text 57. Text 56. Ramananda Raya approached Lord Sri Chaitanya and offered his respectful obeisances, and the Lord embraced him. Then they both began to discuss Krishna in a secluded place. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Raya to recite a verse from the revealed scriptures concerning the ultimate goal of life. Ramananda Raya replied that if one executes the prescribed duties of his social position, he awakens his original Krishna consciousness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by the proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashrama. There is no other way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must be situated in the institution of the four Varnas and Ashramas. The Lord replied, "This is external. You had better tell me of some other means." Ramananda replied, "To offer the results of one's activities to Krishna is the essence of all perfection." Ramananda Roy continued, "O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me." This is also external, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Please proceed and speak further on this matter. Ramananda Roy replied, "To give up one's occupational duties in the Varnashram is the essence of perfection." Ramananda Roy continued, "Occupational duties are described in the religious scriptures. If one analyzes them, he can fully understand their qualities and faults, and then give them up completely to render service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a person is considered a first-class man." As stated in the scripture, after giving up all kinds of religious and occupational duties, if you come to me, Supreme Personality of Godhead, take shelter. I will give you protection from all of life's sinful reactions. Do not worry. After hearing Ramananda Roy speak in this way, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Go ahead and say something more." Ramananda Roy then replied, "Devotional service mixed with empiric knowledge is the essence of perfection." Ramananda Roy continued, "According to Bhagavad Gita, one who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments, nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me." After hearing this, the Lord, as usual, rejected it, considering it to be external devotional service. He again asked Ramananda Roy to speak further. Ramananda Roy replied, "Pure devotional service without any touch of speculative knowledge is the essence of perfection." Ramananda Raya continued, Lord Brahma said, My dear Lord, those devotees who have thrown away the impersonal conception of the Absolute Truth and have therefore abandoned discussing empiric philosophical truths should hear from self-realized devotees about your holy name, form, pastimes, and qualities. They should completely follow the principles of devotional service and remain free from illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and animal slaughter, surrendering themselves fully with body, words, and mind. They can live in any ashram or social status. Indeed, you are conquered by such persons, although you are always unconquerable. At this point, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, This is all right, but still you can speak more on the subject. Ramananda Roy then replied, Ecstatic love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the essence of all perfection. Ramananda Roy continued, As long as there is hunger and thirst, eating and drinking make one feel very happy. When the Lord is worshipped with pure love, transcendental bliss is awakened in the heart of the devotee. Pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by pious activity in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price. That is, intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. Hearing up to the point of spontaneous love, the Lord said, This is all right, but if you know more, please tell me. In reply, Ramananda Roy said, Spontaneous loving service in servitude, as exchanged by master and servant, is the highest perfection. A man becomes purified simply by hearing the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose lotus feet create the holy places of pilgrimage. Therefore, what remains to be attained by those who have become his servants? By serving you constantly, one is freed from all material desires and is completely pacified. When shall we engage as your permanent eternal servants and always feel joyful to have such a perfect master? Hearing this from Ramananda Roy, the Lord again requested him to go a step further. In reply, Ramananda Roy said, Loving service to Krishna, rendered in fraternity, is the highest perfection. Those who are engaged in self-realization, appreciating the Brahman effulgence of the Lord, and those engaged in devotional service, accepting the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Master, as well as those who are under the clutches of Maya, thinking the Lord an ordinary person, cannot understand that certain exalted personalities, after accumulating volumes of pious activities, are now playing with the Lord in friendship as cowherd boys. The Lord said, This statement is very good, but please proceed even further. Ramananda Roy then replied, Loving service to the Lord in the parental relationship is the highest perfectional stage. Ramananda Roy continued, O Brahman, what pious activities did Nanda Maharaj perform by which he received the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as his son? And what pious activities did Mother Yasoda perform that made the absolute Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna call her mother and suck her breasts. The favor Mother Yasoda obtained from Sri Krishna, the bestower of liberation, was never obtained even by Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, not even by the goddess of fortune, who always remains on the chest of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. The Lord said, "Your statements are certainly getting better and better, one after the other, but surpassing all of them is another transcendental mellow, and you can speak of that as the most sublime." Ramananda Raya then replied, "Conjugal attachment for Krishna is the topmost position in love of Godhead." When Lord Sri Krishna was dancing with the gopis in the Rasa Leela, the gopis were embraced by the arms of the Lord. This transcendental favor was never bestowed upon the goddess of fortune or the other consorts in the spiritual world. Indeed, never was such a thing even imagined by the most beautiful girls in the heavenly planets, whose bodily luster and aroma resemble the lotus flower. What to speak of worldly women, who are very beautiful according to material estimation. Suddenly, due to the gopis' feeling of separation, Lord Krishna appeared among them dressed in yellow garments, wearing a flower garland. His lotus face was smiling, and he was directly attracting the mind of Cupid. There are various means and processes by which one may attain the favor of Lord Krishna. All those transcendental processes will be studied from the viewpoint of comparative importance. It is true that whatever relationship a particular devotee has with the Lord is the best for him. Still, when we study all the different methods from a neutral position, we can understand that there are higher and lower degrees of love. Increasing love is experienced in various tastes, one above the other. But that love which has the highest taste in the gradual succession of desires manifests itself in the form of conjugal love. There's a gradual order of improvement in transcendental mellows from the initial ones to the later ones. In each subsequent mellow, the qualities of the previous mellows are manifest, counting from 2, then 3, up to the point of 5 complete qualities. As the qualities increase, so the taste also increases in each and every mellow. Therefore, the qualities found in Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, and Vatsalyaras are all manifest in conjugal love, Madhuryaras. The qualities in the material elements, sky, air, fire, water, and earth, increase one after another by a gradual process of 1, 2, and 3, and at the last stage, in the element earth, all 5 qualities are completely visible. Complete attainment of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna is made possible by love of Godhead, specifically Madhurya Ras, or conjugal love. Lord Krishna is indeed captivated by this standard of love. This is also stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Krishna told the gopis, "This means of attaining my favor in loving service unto me, and fortunately, you are all thus engaged." Those living beings who render service unto me are eligible to be transferred to the spiritual world and attain eternal life with knowledge and bliss. But Krishna has made a firm promise for all time. If one renders service unto him, Krishna correspondingly gives him an equal amount of success in devotional service to the Lord. According to Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, all of them, as they surrender unto me, I reward accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said that Lord Krishna cannot proportionately reciprocate devotional service in the Madhurya Ras. Therefore, he always remains a debtor to such devotees. When the gopis were overwhelmed with dissatisfaction due to Lord Krishna's absence from the Rasa Leela, Krishna returned to them and told them, "My dear gopis, our meeting is certainly free from all material contamination. I must admit that in many lives it would be impossible for me to repay my debt to you, because you have cut off the bondage of family life just to search for me. Consequently, I am unable to repay you. Therefore, please be satisfied with your honest activities in this regard." Although Krishna's unparalleled beauty is the topmost sweetness of love of Godhead, his sweetness increases unlimitedly when he is in the company of the gopis. Consequently, Krishna's exchange of love with the gopis is the topmost perfection of love of Godhead. Although the son of Devaki, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is also the reservoir of all kinds of beauty, he is among the gopis. When he is among the gopis, he nonetheless becomes more beautiful, for he resembles a Marakata jewel surrounded by gold and other jewels. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "This is certainly the limit of perfection, but please be merciful to me and speak more if there is more." Ramananda Raya replied, "Until this day, I did not know anyone within this material world who could inquire beyond this perfectional stage of devotional service." Among the loving affairs of the gopis, Ramananda Raya continued, the love of Srimate Radharani for Sri Krishna is topmost. Indeed, the glories of Srimate Radharani are highly estimated in all revealed scriptures. Just as Srimate Radharani is most dear to Sri Krishna, her bathing place, known as Radhakund, is also dear to him. Among all the gopis, Srimate Radharani is supermost and very dear to Lord Krishna. When the gopis began to talk among themselves, they said, "Dear friends, the gopi who has been taken away by Krishna to a secluded place must have worshipped the Lord more than anyone else." Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Please speak on. I'm very happy to hear you, because a river of unprecedented nectar is flowing from your mouth." During the Rasa dance, Sri Krishna did not exchange loving affairs with Srimate Radharani due to the presence of the other gopis. Because of the dependence of the others, the intensity of love between Radha and Krishna was not manifest. Therefore, he stole her away. If Lord Krishna rejected the company of the other gopis for Srimate Radharani, you can understand that Lord Krishna has intense affection for her. Ramananda Raya continued, "Please, therefore, hear from me about the glories of Srimate Radharani's loving affairs. They are beyond compares within these three worlds." Finding herself treated equally with all the other gopis, Srimate Radharani displayed her tricky behavior and left the circle of the Rasa dance. Missing Srimate Radharani's presence, Krishna became very unhappy and began to lament and wander throughout the forest to search her out. Being afflicted by the arrow of Cupid and unhappily regretting his mistreating Radharani, Madhava, Lord Krishna, began to search for Srimate Radharani along the banks of the Yamuna River. When he failed to find her, he entered the bushes of Vrindavan and began to lament. Simply by considering these two verses, one can understand what nectar there is in such dealings. It is exactly like freeing a mine of nectar. Although Krishna was in the midst of hundreds of thousands of gopis during the rasa dance, he still kept himself in one of his transcendental forms by the side of Srimate Radharani. Lord Krishna is equal to everyone in his general dealings, but due to the conflicting ecstatic love of Srimate Radharani, there were opposing elements. The progress of loving affairs between young couples is like the movement of a snake. On account of this, two types of anger arise between young couples: anger with cause and anger without cause. When Radharani, out of anger and resentment, left the rasa dance, Lord Sri Krishna, not seeing her, became very anxious. Lord Krishna's desire in the Rasa Leela circle is perfectly complete, but Srimate Radharani is the binding link in that desire. The Rasa dance does not shine in the heart of Krishna without Srimate Radharani. Therefore, he gave up the circle of the Rasa dance and went out to search for her. When Krishna went out to search for Srimate Radharani, he wandered here and there. However, not finding her, he became afflicted by the arrow of Cupid and began to lament. Since Krishna's lusty desires were not satisfied, even in the midst of hundreds of thousands of gopis, and he was thus searching after Srimate Radharani, we can easily imagine how transcendentally qualified she is. After hearing this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Ramananda Raya, "That for which I have come to your residence has now become an object of truth in my knowledge. Now I have come to understand the sublime goal of life and the process of achieving it. Nevertheless, I think that there is something more ahead, and my mind is desiring to have it. Kindly explain the transcendental features of Krishna and Srimate Radharani. Also explain the truth of transcendental mellow and the transcendental form of love of Godhead. Kindly explain all these truths to me, but for yourself, no one can ascertain them." Sri Ramananda Raya replied, "I do not know anything about this. I simply vibrate the sound you make me speak. I simply repeat like a parrot whatever instructions you have given me. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Who can understand your dramatic performances? You inspire me within the heart and make me speak with the tongue. I do not know whether I am speaking well or badly." Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "I am a Mayavadi in the renounced order of life, and I do not even know what transcendental loving service to the Lord is. I simply float in the ocean of Mayavad philosophy. Due to the association of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, my mind has been enlightened. Therefore, I have asked Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya about the truths of transcendental loving service to Krishna. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya told me, I do not actually know about the topics of Lord Krishna. They are all known only to Ramananda Raya, but he's not present here." Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "After hearing about your glories, I have come to your place. However, you are offering me words of praise, and out of respect for a sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. Whether one is a Brahmin, a sannyasi, or a Sudra, regardless of what he is, he can become a spiritual master if he knows the science of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, "Please, do not try to cheat, thinking of me as a learned sannyasi. Please satisfy my mind by just describing the truth of Radha and Krishna." Sri Ramananda Raya was a great devotee of the Lord and a lover of God. And although his mind could not be covered by Krishna's illusory energy, and although he could understand the mind of the Lord, which was very strong and intense, Ramananda's mind became a little agitated. Ramananda Raya said, "I'm just like a dancing puppet. You pull the strings. Whichever way you make me dance, I will dance. My dear Lord, my tongue is just like a stringed instrument, and you are its player. Therefore, I simply vibrate whatever arises in your mind." Ramananda Raya then began to speak on Krishna Tattva. "He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead," he said. "He is personally the original Godhead, the source of all incarnations, and the cause of all causes. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets as well as innumerable incarnations. In the material world also there are innumerable universes. And Krishna is the supreme resting place for all of them. The transcendental body of Sri Krishna is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj. He is full of all opulences and potencies, as well as all spiritual mellows. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. In the spiritual realm of Vrndavan, Krishna is the spiritual ever-fresh Cupid. He is worshipped by the chanting of the Kama Gayatri mantra with the spiritual seed Klim. The very name Krishna means that he attracts even Cupid. He is therefore attractive to everyone, male and female, moving and inert living entities. Indeed, Krishna is known as the all-attractive one. When Krishna left the Rasa Leela dance, the gopis became very morose. And when they were grieving, Krishna reappeared dressed in yellow garments, wearing a flower gown and smiling. He was attractive even to Cupid. In this way, Krishna appeared among the gopis. Each and every devotee has a certain type of transcendental mellow in relation to Krishna. However, in all transcendental relationships, the devotee is the worshipper, and Krishna is the object of worship. Let Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be glorified. By virtue of his expanding, attractive features, he subjugated the gopis named Taraka and Pali, and absorbed Shama and Lalita. He is the most attractive lover of Srimate Radharani, and is the reservoir of pleasure for all devotional mellows. Krishna is all attractive for all devotional mellows because he is the personification of the conjugal mellow. Krishna is attractive not only to all the devotees, but to himself as well. My dear friends, just see how Sri Krishna is enjoying the season of spring. With the gopis embracing each of his limbs, he is like amorous love personified. With his transcendental pastimes, he enlivens all the gopis and the entire creation. With his soft bluish-black arms and legs, which resemble blue lotus flowers, he has created a festival for Cupid. He also attracts Narayan, the incarnation of Sankarshan and the husband of the goddess of fortune. He attracts not only Narayan, but all women, headed by the goddess of fortune, the consort of Narayan. Addressing Krishna and Arjuna, Lord Mahavishnu said, I wanted to see both of you, therefore I have brought the sons of the Brahmin here. Both of you have appeared in the material world to reestablish religious principles. You have both appeared here with all your potencies. After killing all the demons, please quickly return to the spiritual world. O Lord, you do not know how the serpent Kaliya attained such an opportunity to be touched by the dust of your lotus feet. For this end, the goddess of fortune performed austerities for centuries, giving up all other desires and taking austere vows. Indeed, you do not know how this serpent Kaliya got such an opportunity. Lord Krishna's sweetness is so attractive that it steals away his own mind. Thus, he even wants to embrace himself. Upon seeing his own reflection in the bejeweled pillar of his Dwarka palace, Krishna desired to embrace it, saying, Alas, I have never seen such a person before. Who is he? Just by seeing him, I've become eager to embrace him, exactly like Srimate Radharani. Sri Ramananda Raya then said, I have thus briefly explained the original form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now let me describe the position of Srimate Radharani. And this is a good stopping point. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha.